Eric Burlison turned political limbo into an art form, showing just how low the Democrats can go.
And I want to remind my Democratic friends, at a point in which you once had the majority of the American people on your side, this is what your party believed in.
During a House hearing on government efficiency, the Missouri rep played what looked like a blooper reel of Democrats making the same mistakes on loop. Then Elon Musk chimed in, casually implying that some members of Congress treat government waste like their favorite side hustle.
Let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress. I think at $20 million if they're earning $200,000 a year.
We're unpacking it all today, not to cheerlead for any party, but to drop some real talk and common sense. If you don't need a party-issued manual to think for yourself, smash that subscribe button, and let's get into it.
I just want to speak frankly at first to the American people. We're nearing $37 trillion in national debt. What does that mean? That means that each and every U.S. taxpayer owes over $323,000. Okay? What does that mean? That means when the EPIC, which is the Economic Policy Innovation Center, says we have $18 trillion left. That's it. $18 trillion left to take out. And we're spending $2 trillion in debt every year. Folks, we're at the precipice of a debt, like a debt cycle. We're literally at a point in which the dollar will be worth nothing.
I get what Eric Burlison was aiming for with that line about every taxpayer owing $320,000. It's a shock stat, the political equivalent of a jump scare in a bad horror movie, meant to hammer home how insane the national debt has become and guilt Congress into pretending to care about efficiency. But here's the issue, phrased like that, it sounds like everyday Americans are the ones racking up the charges in Washington. Spoiler alert, we're not. We're the ones footing the bill while having the least control over how it's spent. Taxpayers show up, pay what's owed, and just hope Uncle Sam doesn't blow it all on nonsense. What we don't sign up for is watching our money vanish into bloated programs, irrelevant research, overseas pet projects, or bureaucratic sinkholes that return less value than a busted vending machine. And circling back to Burleson's point, modern Democrats keep blocking almost every serious attempt to streamline government. That's why he came armed with receipts, a highlight reel that makes it painfully clear just how far off course the party's compass has drifted.
And I want to remind my Democratic friends, at a point in which you once had the majority of the American people on your side, this is what your party believed in.
This report tells us how to cut waste, cut red tape, streamline the bureaucracy, change procurement rules, change the personnel rules, and create a government that works better and costs less.
I've read it, and where it says the president should, the president will.
Among the 800 recommendations, eliminating 12% of the federal workforce, merging some government agencies like the FBI, the DEA, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, closing hundreds of government offices outside Washington.
That's Bill Clinton and Al Gore hyping up the Reinventing Government program, a 5-year crusade to make bureaucracy less painful. The mission was simple: put taxpayers first, cut the red tape, let government workers actually get things done, and most importantly, slim the government down to its fighting weight. Sound familiar? It's basically the same playbook DOJ is pushing today. Which raises the obvious question, if these ideas were brilliant back then, why are Democrats suddenly allergic to them now? Maybe it's because 2 decades have passed and the party's playlist has changed. But here's the kicker, even just 10 years ago, this message was still getting standing ovations.
We would do a better job here in Washington in rooting out wasteful spending. We thought that it was entirely appropriate for our governments and our agencies to try to root out waste, large and small, in a systematic way. It means cutting some programs that I think are worthy, but we may not be able to afford right now. A lot of the action is in Congress and legislative, but in the meantime, we don't need to wait for Congress in order to do something about wasteful spending that's out there. We haven't seen as much action out of Congress as we'd like, and that's why we launched on our own initiative the campaign Cut Waste. And we're going to keep on finding every possible way that we can do that, even if Congress is not acting.
Now here's the ironic twist. Back when Obama was in charge, it was Joe Biden, yes, that Joe Biden, who was tasked with keeping cabinet members in line and making sure government waste got tossed out. Fast forward to today, and as president, Biden seems to be the one bulking up the bureaucracy with protein shakes. Just look at the Inflation Reduction Act. It promised billions for green energy and infrastructure, a shiny, sustainable future. But here's the problem, a lot of those projects are still stuck at the starting line. Why? Because the same monster Biden was once hired to slay, excessive bureaucracy, has come back stronger, with a fatter budget and even more paperwork. After playing the clips, Eric didn't miss the opportunity. He basically told his Democrat colleagues, hey, maybe give DOJ's plan a shot before the whole government collapses under the weight of its own forms.
I mean, we know Social Security goes bankrupt in 8 years, right? Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. And then 15 years from now, the dollar is completely devalued and worth nothing. So what does that mean? That means your pension, the money in your bank, your savings is nothing. It's worthless. So what are we doing? We're trying to save this country. We're trying to save your pensions. We're trying to save your bank accounts. We're trying to save this country for the next generation. And it would be nice if we had help. But instead, we have people that are fighting us on this.
Now, to be fair, a lot of DOA's proposed cuts haven't actually been locked into law by Congress. The White House did send over a $9.66 billion cost-cutting package, swinging the axe at USAID, PBS, and NPR. It barely squeaked through the House, thanks to a handful of uneasy Republicans and a solid wall of Democratic resistance. But the real brick wall? The Senate. They haven't even bothered to put the package on the calendar. And if you peek behind the curtain, Senate leadership and the Appropriations Committee seem about as eager to trim spending as a kid guarding their Halloween candy. Then Elon Musk showed up again, offering a not-so-subtle hint at why these reforms might never see the light of day, and let's just say, he didn't exactly sugarcoat it.
So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then they'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is a circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how they get $20 million if they're earning $200,000 a year. Nobody can explain that.
Exactly. Now, I can't wave around hard proof to back up what Elon just dropped, but let's be real, it's a fair question. How do people earning less than $200,000 a year walk into office and somehow strut out as millionaires? The math on that is shakier than a Jenga tower at midnight. Clearly, there's some behind-the-scenes magic, or mischief, at play. I'd love to hear your take, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've got friends who are tired of getting spoon-fed the news by partisan outlets, share this video with them. That's how we start breaking the cycle. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious.